Have you ever found yourself clicking on some random ad or sharing an article without even really thinking about it? Or maybe you just feel this instant gut connection to a brand. Well, guess what? That's not an accident. There's a whole hidden science at play, and it's all designed to capture your most valuable asset, your attention. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how it's done.
We're all taught that likes, shares, and clicks are the currency of the internet, right? But what if that's all a bit of a distraction? What if every single like and share you've ever given was, well, kind of meaningless? What if the real connection, the true engagement, is something much, much deeper?
You see, experts are totally rethinking what engagement even means. It's not just a click, it's not just an action, it's a psychological state. It's about how much of your actual brain power you're dedicating to something, how you feel about it, and how it hooks into your own sense of who you are. The real goal here, it's about creating a lasting memory, not just ticking a box on a spreadsheet. And this right here is the massive challenge that every single brand on the planet is wrestling with. I mean, think about it. We live in a world of infinite scrolling, of constant pings and notifications. Our attention is just shattered. It's fragmented into a million tiny pieces. So getting even a single moment of your genuine, focused attention, that has become the ultimate prize. And because our attention is so scattered, the old ways of doing things like focus groups and surveys, they just don't cut it anymore. Let's be honest, a lot of the time we can't even explain what we really want. So marketers have made a huge shift. They've gone from asking you questions to, well, looking directly into your brain for the unfiltered, honest reaction. Which brings us to the solution. And it's a solution that's both incredibly powerful and, as we're about to see, pretty controversial. It's called neuromarketing. Basically, it's the science of using what we know about the brain to figure out what really grabs your attention, what triggers your emotions, and what drives your decisions, often completely beneath your conscious radar. And a lot of the time, the main target is this ancient, primitive part of our brain. Some people call it the reptilian brain. This is the part that handles our most basic instincts. We're talking survival, gut feelings, snap judgments. It works fast, it's totally unconscious, and it's the real boss when it comes to making those split-second decisions. And that's exactly who marketers want to talk to.
So how in the world do you speak to this primal brain? Well, research shows it really perks up when it gets 6 key things. First, it's super self-centered. It's always asking, what's in it for me? Second, it loves clear contrast. Think of a simple before and after picture. It gets that instantly. It also prefers tangible, concrete ideas over anything abstract or complicated. It's really good at remembering the beginning and the end of any message. The middle gets kind of fuzzy. And finally, it is overwhelmingly visual and emotional. It feels first and thinks second.
Okay, so take a look at this. This is basically the neural marketer's playbook. You can see they use everything from eye tracking to see exactly where your gaze lands, to creating that nagging fear of missing out, FOMO. They leverage influencers, the psychology of color. Every single tool you see here is designed to trigger a specific and pretty predictable response in your brain. Let's dive a little deeper into the core tech. You've got EEG headsets, which measure those little electrical spikes in your brain to see how engaged you are in real time. Then there's fMRI scans, which are amazing. They show which parts of the brain are lighting up, like your emotion and memory centers. Eye tracking is exactly what it sounds like. It creates a heat map of what you're actually looking at. And then there's facial coding, which uses AI to read those tiny, fleeting expressions on your face to reveal how you truly feel, even if you don't say a word. All right, now this is where it gets really wild. Check out the famous Pepsi paradox. Here's the deal. In blind taste tests, most people actually prefer the taste of Pepsi. Simple enough, right? But, and this is the crazy part, when you tell people they're drinking Coke, the fMRI scans show their brain's memory and emotion centers just light up. And then they'll say they prefer Coke. The brand itself literally changes the taste experience. This was a bombshell. It proved that our emotional connection to a brand can actually override our own physical senses. Okay, so this isn't just some weird stuff happening in a lab. These exact principles are being used on you and me, every single day, all over the internet. Let's look at a few examples that might surprise you. Think about how you look at a website. Do you read every word? Of course not. Eye tracking studies show we're predictably lazy. We scan pages in a rough F shape. We look across the top, then we jump down a bit and look across again, and then we just scan down the left side. Web designers know this inside and out. So guess where they put the most important stuff, like the logo and the Buy Now button? Yep, right along that F pattern, where you're guaranteed to look. And then there's color. This is another huge one. It's not just about making things look pretty, it's about hacking our emotions.
Why do you think so many banks and tech companies use blue? It's meant to feel trustworthy and secure. Red creates a sense of urgency, perfect for those sale ends soon banners. And that bright orange add to cart button you see everywhere? Total impulse trigger. It's all by design. But the really smart brands like Patagonia, they go even deeper. They're not just selling you a jacket, they're selling you an identity. All their content reinforces the values of their community, environmentalism, adventure, that rugged outdoor spirit. This is something called the social identity framework. Engaging with their brand becomes an act of saying, this is who I am. It's incredibly powerful. And check out this quick, brilliant example. Frito-Lay used this stuff and discovered that the shiny material on their potato chip bags was subconsciously triggering feelings of guilt in people. Crazy, right? So what did they do? They switched to matte packaging. The chips inside were exactly the same, but the new bags felt healthier, which reduced that guilt, and boom, sales went up. Okay, so this stuff is clearly effective. It's incredibly powerful. It can lead to better products and ads that we actually find interesting. But it also brings up a really, really serious question. At what point does this cross the line from persuasion into outright manipulation? And that brings us right to the heart of the whole controversy, the debate over the so-called buy button in the brain. The idea that there might be a single, perfect trigger that can make us buy something, even against our own better judgment. Now, there are two very different ways to look at all this. On one hand, proponents say, hey, this is just a better way to understand what customers truly need. It helps us create more relevant ads instead of annoying junk. But on the other hand, the critics are raising some serious alarms. They worry it's a violation of our privacy, that it exploits our subconscious vulnerabilities, and that at the end of the day, it risks treating us like programmable robots.
And for us as consumers, the concerns are very, very real. I mean, think about it. Who owns your brain data? When marketing is specifically designed to bypass your rational mind, is your choice really free anymore? And how can you possibly give informed consent if you don't even know your brain is being read in the first place? It's a lot to think about.
So where does that leave us? This technology, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get more sophisticated. The real question isn't if we use it, but how we choose to use it moving forward. You see, the real future of building great brands probably isn't about finding some magic buy button. It's about making a shift away from this mechanical process of just triggering clicks and toward a more meaningful one of building genuine psychological connections. The hope is that these insights can be used to actually serve an audience, not just exploit their subconscious triggers. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. The next time you feel that powerful pull from an ad or a deep connection to a brand, you have to ask yourself, is what you're feeling a real, genuine human emotion? Or is it just the result of some very, very good code?